Hello everyone, and welcome back to this video course in which we are creating this chair model on which we can change the texture, we can change the paint job and all the stuff, and all of that is in the viewport of our web browser. It's very convenient, it's very easy way to show your customers how can they customize their product on your web page. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. In this part we are finishing up this well, actually we are finishing all this series, concerning the chair model and all of that stuff that I've been talking about in my previous videos, uh, previous 5 videos, I'm sorry. In this part we are creating well, actually we are not creating this menu because we already had it, and it's on my GitHub page in the video description below. But what we are doing is we are exporting some UV layouts for our back piece and the seat. We are adding some more textures, so we will use some graphic editing software like GIMP. That's a free software, open source. In my case, I'm using Photoshop. I find it very easy, and for me it's the fastest way to create some basic textures, upload them, download them, save them as in whichever format I want. So let's get to it, guys. I'm gonna just minimize those windows, and let me go to our Blender file, to our chair, and what we want to do is basically, in the previous video we created those back and the seat textures, which are represented over here. You could see them on my first screen, but they're over here, and this one as well. They're basically the same, but today we're going to download some like basic wood textures. We can download some plastic textures. You can add whatever you want. So let's go to Google, and before we do actually go to Google, I open my Blender file so I can export the UV layout, because only thing I have for now are those two textures, which I have over here, and I cannot see any UV layout behind them. So if I were to make another texture for my model, I wouldn't know where to place my downloaded texture, so it fits my model nice and tightly. So we are going to go just to our Blender file over here from the previous video, and we are going to export these two UV layouts. I already exported them, and they are I cannot show you my those things, but we are going to export those oh my god, those two pieces and those two UV layouts. So if we go to edit mode, you can see this piece, this back piece. It's very easy. We go to in a UVs section, UVs menu. We go to export UV layout. We just specify the destination of that, and I've called them ass piece and back piece. So you know what it is. That one, actually I didn't know what that was. That is the back piece, so we are going to save it as a back piece. One more time just for you guys. Export UV layout, that's the back piece, and Blender is going to actually overwrite that file because I already had it on my desktop. Let's get back from the edit mode to the object mode. Click on the seat, and don't worry, guys, if you have your textures loaded onto your UV layout, if you click export UV layout, it will only export the UV layout. No, there is no this menu is pain in the ass. I'm sorry, guys. Export UV layout, there we go. We go to desktop, and we have our ass piece. We are overwriting it, so it the name has a red background. So we are aware, the program makes us aware that we are overwriting some already existing files. But as we did that, And let me just quit that. Did I did it? No. Oh my. Yeah, we are quitting it. You can see that I've exported my backpiece, and that's a straight UV layout. The black background is just from the earphone view picture viewer, but don't worry, these are PNG files and they are transparent. But, well, it actually doesn't matter if they are transparent or not. Just what matters is that we have our UV layout. So that's it, guys. We take those two pieces, those two files, and we go to our folder, our tutorial folder, and to episode 6, because that's what I called them. And let's say we want to just we'll put them over here, and then we will as you can see, I've created those two folders. We go to backpiece, we put the back textures, and as piece we go to seed pieces. You know what, I'm gonna rename it to seed, so it doesn't confuse any one of you. So as you can see, I already have those files in my folders. Right now I'm going to post the video. I'm just going to open the Photoshop. It takes a while for my computer to open the Photoshop, so I don't want to bother you with the time being. So see you guys in a second, and I will start from then. Okay, guys, so now that I have my Photoshop app opened, we go to Google and we are going to Google some nice textures, some nice wooden textures, plastic textures. Just go and find whatever you want. Let's say we want some plastic textures. And let's find something that is not being copyright written or anything like that. Tools? No, that's not that. Yeah, that was tools. We go to images. I think that one was quite good. So I think we are going to no. That's the crappy one. You can see the shading's not going, all seamless on it. But let's say we want our channel being, material based. So actually, you know what, guys? And first of all, tools, more no use rights labeled for use with modifications, So I know it's and the next part is that we choose the large image size. So we can, but I don't see anything good over here. Let me just scroll down a little. And if we won't find anything, we'll just go to plastic textures. Let's search for it like that. There's nothing over here. So let's type in patterns. And in our patterns result, you know what, guys? Oh heck, let's try this one. That one looks very good. It's like some leaves laying on the ground. You know what, guys? Just for an example, that for me it looks cool. So we go to View Image. Close that tab. Well, actually, I have to close it because my computer isn't that fast. So with that, we go to our we download it to our desktop. We can switch off the web browser, and remember we had those two UV exports. So we drop them on our Photoshop app, and they will automatically open. And guys, just do like so. Drop the picture on our UV layout. resize it just like that, just to fit the boundaries of our image, of our UV layout. You can still see there's the UV layout behind that. And let's export that one or save it as. You can see that my Photoshop is actually in Polish because I'm from Poland. I accidentally installed the Photoshop in Polish. That was a mistake of mine. I will never do it again. Trust me on that. I think Polish language is very annoying when you want to use some apps like Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, or any kind of apps that are overall being used as a English applications. So where is that? Oh, over here. Tutorials 3D Showcase episode 6, and that was our back piece. So let's go ahead and save it over here as let's save it as a JPEG, I think. Back piece. We'll save it as back2, and I will tell you in a second why. So let's save that, and we will save it as a PNG file, just to stay consistent on our file types, so we don't have to rewrite any code in the main scene JavaScript file. Let's call it back2 and just go and save it. And the pop-up window pops up, and it asks for compression and translucency, transparency. I don't know what it's called in English. I don't remember. Usually I just click no and no, or none or none. Click OK, and that's it, guys. And the same goes for our sit texture. We drop it over here like that, or you know what, we can save it. We can save that one as our seat, and I'll tell you why just right now. I don't know if you remember, but we had our pictures, we had our UV layouts exported as the 1024 by 1024 dimension, and what that does, it always has to be the power of 2. So for example, if I want a 512, it has to be on 512. I cannot export a texture that has width of 300 pixels and height of 2 pixels or 150 pixels, because it's not power of 2. Those have to be the power of 2, so you want to keep that in mind. And the as piece, let's say, what did I call it? As piece. That's not the as piece, but the bottom one. So we will call that one bottom 2. Okay, guys. And the same technique goes for the back piece. I named it back piece over here. So back 1, we have back 2. Now we want bottom for the seat. We want bottom 1, and we will save it as bottom 2 and the PNG file. So let's go ahead and save it. No, okay. It exported. I'm going to shut down my Photoshop app. Do I want to save the changes to the back? No, I don't want to save the changes, because guys, you want to save as many files, as many textures. You want to create as many textures as you are required of, as you want. So right now, let's go ahead and look at our code. I'm going to pause the video just for a second, and we'll get back to it ASAP. Alright, guys, so back in our code editor, you can see I've added a few lines of code which are basically the texture cube back textures. I've created a matrix or an array of textures for the back piece and the sit textures. You can see 2 of them. Those are just to show you quickly. Back 1, that's the main. Oh, it disappeared. This one is the main back piece, back texture, and this one, as you can see over here, the first one in our array is the bottom piece, bottom texture. So and they are being assigned as soon as we created our arrays. Sorry, guys. As soon as we created our arrays, you can see that current back material is back textures, and we select the back two. So we select this one, and it corresponds to this path. So whenever you click on our web page, I've made a few changes to our web page as well, so you might want to take a look. I just created this simple menu because I didn't want to delve into how to create this stuff. If you guys would like to know how to create those transitions and stuff like that, let me know in the comment section below. I will post it for you. I will record it for you if you wish to see how was it made, and I will just explain it to you because it's very simple. You just use jQuery and all sorts of JavaScript libraries. For this one, I've used the Greenstock library that is called TweenMax, and basically what that library just does is it creates this stagger effect. As you can see over here, the menu doesn't appear instantaneously. It just drops down from the bottom, drops top from the bottom, like so. But I'm not going to, as I said, I'm not going to delve into how to make this menu. I've created this simple menu. I will explain it to you, all the details of creating that, and basically what we wanted to achieve. So I had to just pause. I had to pause the video just for a second, just to get acquainted with this technique once again, because it was a long time since I've recorded the video. But anyways guys, let's go ahead and go to our code editor, and as you can see, I've added the texture cube, back textures, and sit textures. I've assigned the current back material and current sit material to corresponding to our arrays. And you might also notice that I've created this texture cube, and what this does is actually our model is situated in a 3D scene. This scene, if you don't add lights to it, if you don't add, let's say, any walls to our scene, any floor to our scene, it's just plain and simple. But for example, if you want to create some more realistic 3D model, you might want to consider adding these 3 lines of code. It's word wrap, so it's basically 2 lines of code. And what that does, it basically this one isn't visible for the user of your model, for the user of your configurator, but it's being visible to our model. And what that does, it's basically imagine our chair being contained in a 3D box, just like a simple box, and each wall on that box, on the walls of that box, is being covered by those pictures, which represent, I'll show you in a second, which represent, you can see that there's a path to that end map. And what that is this is just basically representation of some area. It's like this. You can see some area being applied to this cube, so the textures are being applied to this cube. And what that does, if for example you have your paint on your whatever you create, whatever 3D model you create, let it be a bike, for example, or a car. So if you have this very reflective and shiny paint, if you had a simple scene like we had previously in our videos, you won't be very satisfied, because there's no reflections, there's no realness going on with it. So by adding this cube, on overlaying, surrounding our model, and that cube having those textures on it. It creates the reflections on our paint. So that's the very nice feature which you can add. You can play around with it. You can fiddle with it. I won't go into any details explaining how to make it, because I've downloaded from internet. I found it on some page. I think it was three.js examples, but I'm not pretty sure. I've just downloaded those textures, and I applied them to the cube. You can see that I've created a new 3 cube texture loader, and I basically created the cube. And let me show you in where we call our model. You can see that where is it? I basically haven't added it yet, so yeah, I didn't. Texture target, multiply occurring photo back map. No, it's not here yet, so we will leave it as it is for a second. What we are going to cover in this tutorial is are those arrays. Just basically, if you want to add another texture to our seed, you just basically add this, copy the line, change the name for the texture, or the indicator for the texture, and call it the texture 3. But since we don't have any third texture, we are not going to call it and leave it as it is, because I want to keep it plain and simple for you guys. So we basically created those 2 arrays, assigned the current materials for the seat and for the back piece, and we are calling them over here. As you can see, proto back and proto sit. After these lines, we are loading the simple rails, legs, front legs, back rail, and all of our the rest of our model. But these parts, the parts that you want to change the texture on, are being called over here. And you might notice that I first of all created this material, then loaded the back piece, not like over here where we basically call the function for the geometry and materials, and they are being loaded on top of each other, and that's it. The model, the 3D object that we are going to change our texture on, has to be called like so. Why? I don't know. I found it on the internet. I've noticed that it's loading properly. I can change it on runtime, so that's what we want. And the very important is that you have to call. You have our model. It's being named back, and you have to state this line in each model you would like to change the texture on. Basically, it says to the renderer that the model, the 3D model you're calling or you're loading onto the scene, needs updates. So it needs to be updated, and that line basically allows your model to change the texture on the runtime. This one. Maybe there's a way. I haven't found it yet. So guys, if you know how to do it, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to get to know the easier way to change the texture on my model. I haven't found it yet. So if you guys have any idea on how to do it, please leave the comment in the section below. And as you go up in the browser, you might also click the like button. I'm not forcing you to do that, but do it. Okay, so we have this proto bag. We basically, first of all, we are loading our model via the 3 texture loader. So first of all, we are calling our material current back material, which is being defined over here, current back material, and that is that one. Yeah, that one. and we are calling the seed textures bottom 2, and you can see it's over current seed material, and it's over here, right? So it's as easy as that. And we click save. We go to our web page, and we have those models loaded. So if we were to refresh our site, our showcase, the material is like so. If I were to change the current material to bottom 1, for example, and hit save, now if I refresh it, there should be 2 different textures. This one should be wooden, and that one is our those appear to be pebbles. Not some great pattern, but you catch my drift, you catch the idea. So I don't have time to change it. You just need to get the idea on how to create it. So guys, let's go and create our buttons. And I've already did that in my index index file, index HTML file, and I've created those simple buttons made of paragraph tags. You can see back piece texture 1, texture 2, and seed piece texture 1, texture 2. And what is important for those textures, I've just differentiated them like so. I basically changed the background on the seed piece, on the seed buttons, and change the back, change Jesus Christ, didn't change anything on the first 2 buttons. So that's what you have to keep in mind. And the most important part in our HTML file right now is the way in which you tell your script, your main scene, which part, which element from our array we want to use currently, and change it on the runtime. So how I figure it out is I've created those alt tags. I don't know if it's called tag. It's an element of it's our element. You can for example call data and whatnot, but I always want to keep it simple, so I created alt. And what that does in the main scene, because we are using the three.js, of course we are using three.js, because we are using jQuery, is because we are using it, we can call any attribute that's the attribute. We can call any attribute and read its value, so we know what kind of array, which element from the array we want to use. So how I did that is that I went to the main scene. Let's scroll to the bottom, and check this out. Texture switch, sit. So I call my element over here. Texture switch, and I have back, and sit. I've named them so I didn't get confused. And I call these those 2 elements over here. Actually, you know what? I can actually delete this one and delete this one, because those are pretty indicative on which element on our website we are clicking on. So if I now I save the main scene JavaScript file, and if I refresh it, it should work. Let me just check it out. Well, it does. So I've even made it simpler. More simple. There's no such word as simple, but anyways. And I basically told the jQuery, told the main scene JavaScript file that if I click on this element, which is over here and here, what I want this button or the click action to do is basically call a function, and that function has to read this attribute, the alt attribute, and as it reads the alt attribute, it assigns some variable. It assigns the result of this attribute call. It assigns this result to some variable, and I'll show you how it does that. You can see that we have our texture target, and this because we are referring to this element, and basically we are telling it, hey, class seed, if you contain any attribute that is being named alt, I would like to assign the anything that is being contained in this attribute to this variable. And then if I call our texture loader and call our 3D model, I basically I am calling our array sit textures, which is over here, and I'm telling it which element from this array to use as I click on our elements. So you can see that sit textures, and I want texture target. And because our texture target, for example, let's say we want to click this line, and our texture target is bottom one. So it asks this array, hey, do you have hey sit textures, do you have bottom one? Which is being passed through this variable, and if it does, it loads our texture. And guys, that is it. Right now I've created only two buttons for each texture, for each piece of our 3D model. And really, guys, if you would like to know how to create this menu, or if you would like to see any CSS tutorial, any JavaScript tutorial, because I'm very good in that. I love JavaScript. JavaScript is the best language ever. Nobody can tell me nothing about JavaScript that is bad. If you want to speak to me, first of all, you have to write JavaScript is the best, and I will answer you ASAP. But putting our jokes aside, I love JavaScript. It's very reliable language. It's very flexible language. And you can basically, I've showed you how to basically create this 3D showcase for your clients, for everyone. I'm not going to repeat myself. I promise myself I'm not, and I'm not repeating myself. So guys, tell me in the comment section below if you like this video series. I'm actually thinking about creating another video series, but I don't yet have the topic. Maybe I'll post it in this week. The scope of what we are going to do. I was thinking about something. About going through all the JavaScript libraries. There's thousands upon thousands of them, so we won't run out of our topics. And that's basically this, guys. If you like this video tutorial, if you would love to see more, please support me on my Patreon page, which link you can find on my I guess, yes, there it is. You can support me on my Patreon page. You can visit my website. It isn't finished yet. You can also visit my GitHub page. Oh, and by the way, all the files that are being created over here, that I've created over here with you, are being posted on my GitHub page. The access is free. So if you would like to use them, or you created your local host and you would like to just download it and take a look at it, fiddle with it and change something to it, please feel free to do it. Just leave me some star on GitHub, because that helps me a lot as well. And that's it for this series. See you guys soon. Bye.